G'day, today we're making Cooper's Celebration Ale. The kit I got from Cooper's themselves, of course. I'm going to make it nice and easy. The way they actually say in the instructions, I'm going to follow them. I usually modify it. This time I'm not going to, just to show you new brewers. You can still make a nice beer without doing any modifications. This was a nice kit. I think it was $50 delivered to the door, with everything you need, extra hops, some different yeast, and everything you need to make a nice beer. So let's get at it.
This is a quick and easy brew. Great one for beginners. There's no steeping or anything like that involved. And we should get it together in about 15 minutes. We'll start by putting a couple of litres of no rinse sanitiser into the fermenter with the can opener and the spoon. Give it a good shake and just let it sit there for a while. Shake it every now and then until you're ready to use it. Then we put the extract cans in the sink or any other container with some hot water. It just helps them pour easier when it comes to putting them in the fermenter. For this recipe it requires 500 grams of dextrose. They were good enough to put a kilo into the kit, so we have to weigh out 500 grams. You can use the rest for bottling or for another brew. Next I just spray the area with Star San or whatever sanitizer you use, no rinse. So it's nice and clean for when I put the lid down of the fermenter once I take it off. Gives me a place to drain the fermenter to and know that it's sanitised. So we drain it just into a bucket, or you could use the sink if you wanted to. And I put the spoon and the can opener in there just to keep them sanitised. And I also use that for washing my hands every time before I go and stir the brew or touch anything, you know, that's going to be in contact with the wort. And once the fermenter's drained, we just place it on the ground or wherever it's easiest to fill up. Put a couple of litres of hot water in there. I boil it in the jug and just let it cool down a touch before putting it in. We add the 500 grams of dextrose, which you'll find will dissolve very easily in the hot water. Next is one of the cans of extract. This is the amber malt extract. Happens to be a Cooper's variety, 1.5 kilos of amber liquid malt extract. Now a lot of people rinse those cans with boiled water from the kettle or something like that, but I find it's not really necessary and it gets dangerous. The can gets very hot. I mean, if you've got Teflon hands, then go for it. You can rinse them out. Next is the Cooper Selection traditional Draught, and just the same again. I wipe it down with a tea towel. That's a clean tea towel too. I wouldn't use a dirty one, but it just saves. You don't want any drips or anything going into the brew that could cause an infection. give everything a good mix. And the next thing we'll need to do is to top it up with cold water. Our water, luckily enough, is we can use straight from the tap. We have good water here in Melbourne, Australia, that we don't have to worry about doing anything to it. But you can use a bucket or anything you like. You might pay to sanitise it if it's been used for other things before you use it. And we just top it up. We top it up to around about the 20 litre mark. This is a 23 litre brew. If we top it up to the 20 litre mark, we can check the temperature and adjust with hot or cold water to get it into the range of your yeast. I'm trying to brew this one at around 20 degrees. It's very warm weather here though, and it's hard at the moment in the middle of summer to get everything down to the right temperature. Now it's a little bit hard to see there, but that brew was a couple of degrees warmer than I wanted it. It was around 24, 25 degrees. And the night before I brew, I always put some water in the fridge, just in case I need it to adjust the temperatures. That was just a sanitised old Coke bottle, and I'd fill it up with water and just put it in the fridge the night before. That'll help just to bring it down that couple of degrees I need. Give it a good stir. And we'll just have to fill that up. I needed another litre to bring it up to the 23 litre mark. And next I just check with another thermometer. The stickers on the side of those fermenters are pretty good though. I just like to check. I just place that thermometer in star sand. It has a contact time of about 30 seconds before anything's sanitised. So if you forget anything, it doesn't really take long. It's good to have that bucket or sink full of no-rinse sanitiser there all the time. It's very handy. It's a bit hard to see on that camera. On this camera here, you can see it's just over 20 degrees, a couple of degrees, and that's about right. And next we just add the Safale yeast, the US-05. I actually use that yeast a lot. And just stir the yeast in.
Alright, so that's it. That easy. I'll let that ferment. I'll keep it in a nice cool place. Try and keep it around 20, 21 degrees in a couple of days. I'll add the two sorts of hops they gave me to dry hop, which is Centennial and Nelson Sauvin, 25 grams of each of those. And I'll put the recipe on the Cellar Dweller site. If you go down the bottom down there, I'll have a link to the Cellar Dweller site. I'll put it in a bit more detail, and you can comment or ask questions there. Thanks very much. Cheers.
JTV turned me into an alcoholic.